This is RBN, the Republic Broadcasting Network.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero, because World War III is a really bad idea. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome to our show today. It is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020, getting into the week here. We've got lots to talk about today. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443, 800-313-9443. Mike is in our control room, twiddling the dials, keeping us out of trouble and ready to answer the phone, put you on the air with your comments, questions, and observations. So let's get right on into it. Trump has finally done something that he promised to do all the way back in 2016. He is suspending all immigration into the United States. He says it's temporary. I personally hope it's permanent. And of course, the Democrats are frothing at the mouth, and how dare he shamelessly use COVID-19 to push his anti-immigrant agenda here. And Trump's reasoning is sound. We have millions of Americans who've lost their jobs because of this lockdown nonsense. And we don't need more immigrants coming into this country competing for what few jobs there are. And this is a good example of putting America first. And so I applaud Donald Trump on this. And I think the longer he keeps this, the better. Of course, Congress could override this executive order if they vote within, I think it's the next 30 days. Because Congress can override an executive order if they feel like it. And the Democrats can definitely do that in the House of Representatives. We don't know what's going to happen in the Senate if they take that route. I think if the Democrats really push back on this, it's going to backfire on them, because I think most Americans are tired of all the immigration and illegal immigration and refugees and all the other things that are out there. Now, Ron Paul is out there with an article, "What if the lockdown was a giant mistake?" And it's a question that does need to be asked, because we're seeing in places like Sweden that didn't have a lockdown, and their numbers of infected and dying are roughly the same. Well, they're actually even better than we have in Great Britain, which is locked down. But we have got, Americans protesting in the streets all across this country, and they're demanding an end to what amounts to a house arrest. And because we haven't done anything. And the longer we're trapped in our houses, the longer we're ordered to stay home from work, the more jobs are going to be lost and the worse the economy is going to be. And it is looking more and more like this was just a huge, gigantic mistake leading to a global recession. And the reality is that, the lockdown was never going to be a solution anyway. What they wanted to do was sort of smooth out the surge so the hospitals didn't get overwhelmed. But the hospitals aren't being overwhelmed. Patients aren't showing up. There are hospital floors that are empty. Hospitals are letting people go because they don't have patients, because they've canceled all the non-urgent, non-critical procedures. The patients just aren't showing up in the numbers that they were predicting. They've already dismantled that Army hospital up in Seattle. Those 2 Navy hospital ships they had were, for the most part, empty. It just didn't happen. And it does make it look like this whole lockdown panic hysteria was a huge, gigantic mistake, which, of course, the government will never admit. The government's position is going to be, well, if we hadn't locked you all down, millions would have died. There would have been 500 million dead Americans if we hadn't locked it all down. Ignoring the fact that there's only 330 million Americans in the whole country here. Now, then, we have been talking about Joe Biden, Drooling Joe, I think that's the new name for him. And he's getting ready to name his vice presidential pick. And there's a lot of speculation about what's going on this thing. And barring an 11th hour run around Biden to get somebody else as the Democratic nominee, because he can't debate Donald Trump. Trump will eat him alive, even if somebody steals all the notes from the debate, the way they did back in 2016. So he needs a powerhouse vice president, and it's starting to shape up, and I saw this in more than a few places. It's starting to shape up. They're thinking about putting Michelle Obama as the vice president because she's a woman. There's the woman's vote. She's Black. There's the Black vote. She does enjoy a tremendous popularity as a former first lady. And from the Democrats' desperation, it may make a lot of sense. Personally, while I would take Michelle Obama over Hillary Clinton any day, the fact of the matter is that Michelle Obama is not qualified to be president of the United States of America, which ultimately whoever is vice president is likely to be. Because I don't see Biden continuing for 4 more years with his current state of deterioration and dementia. But Michelle Obama is out there, and they're really pushing to make her visible to the public. Now, she's been given a PBS show after Democrats gave public broadcaster $75 million in the coronavirus relief bill. And so she's going to be a talk show host in the 2020 election. And apparently she just had this virtual registration event with Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson about mailing in ballots, even though millions went missing in previous elections. So it's looking like they're polishing her up. Now, Michelle Obama is out there saying that she has no desire to be vice president, but that's just what she's saying. Joe Biden, on the other hand, is saying he'll take her in a heartbeat. He would love to have Michelle Obama as his running mate. And that would put the Clintons in a position to be in the White House for an additional 8 years. Sorry, that would be the Obamas in the White House for an additional 8 years. Oh, man. Need a scorecard to sort out all these people. In other news, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is in grave condition following heart surgery. And of course, reports are a little bit sketchy, and North Korea's officialdom is saying, well, yes, he's in the hospital. He had cardiovascular surgery, meaning they probably put in a stent because he's very overweight, and he smokes heavily and he drinks heavily, and he's only in his 30s. So they're keeping an eye on that. And I guess his sister would be the next in line for the throne, if you will, of North Korea, should he shuffle off that mortal coil. All right, so let's get into a little bit of the coronavirus news here, because there's a lot going on here. Netanyahu's son actually came on out and said he hopes that elderly leftists die from the coronavirus because they protested against his father. And I'm troubled by all the people, and that includes some of the callers to this show. I'm troubled by people who are out there saying, well, I hope this person gets an illness, and I hope this person gets a heart attack, and I hope that person, gets run over by an elephant or something like that. That's kind of a mean-spirited approach to debate, which I personally don't see as part of the American character. But if that's what the American character is becoming, then we're really, really, really in trouble. Anyway, getting on back to the effects of the lockdown, more and more states are starting to relax their lockdown rules. Some of the beaches in Florida are now open. Now, Wynn Resorts out in Las Vegas is saying that they should be open. The casino should be open by Memorial Day. They're going to have temperature scanners at the door, checking people as they come in, reduced occupancy, enforced social distancing, no large gatherings, but they're going to be there ready to take your money at the card and dice tables. Ireland, on the other hand, may keep their pubs, bars, and sports venues closed for 18 months or until a coronavirus vaccine is found. Boy, if you know anything about the Irish, the fact that the pubs and bars are going to stay closed, those are fighting words. Those are absolutely fighting words. Now, the country's health minister, Simon Harris, has cautioned that while they aim to get pupils back to school as quickly as possible, places where people can't safely social distance will likely have to stay closed for some time. Now, this to me is just a little bit ridiculous because everyone's fallen in love with this magic 6-foot social distancing rule, even though scientific experiments, including one on Mythbusters, has shown that spray from just talking, sneezing, coughing can travel up to 30 feet. So, story coming out of Domagood.com. Even if the economy reopens, schools in most states will remain closed for the academic year. Well, yeah, we're coming up here on May 1st. There's almost not much point in reopening the schools. The homeschooling system seems to be working, or the remote learning system seems to be working. Now, down in Cuba, and Cuba has a wonderful medical system. In fact, at times it rivals that of the United States in every way except price. And apparently, they have a drug that is a potential anti-COVID-19 drug. And apparently, they're working on a recombinant interferon, which is being neglected up here in the United States of America. Of course, we know what's going on. The goal here is not to find a cure for coronavirus, but to find a vaccine and to make sure it's an American vaccine, because there's going to be a lot of money made off of this. A lot of money. Okay, there's a new study out now that claims China's outbreak of COVID-19 may have started all the way back in September. I think I mentioned this briefly during yesterday's show. And China has admitted the disease was present in Wuhan, the capital of its Hubei province, in December, although for weeks into January, it denied that human-to-human transmission had already taken place. Now, this next story, we've seen a lot of China bashing. Right now, our government, and especially Trump, they want to redirect Americans' anger to China. Don't get angry with us because you're stuck in your home and you're having to relearn how to get along with your family. It's China's fault. Blame China. And so there's this story, and this came out of Damagood.com again. President Trump says China may be knowingly responsible for spreading coronavirus. Now, that's a heck of a charge. It's a heck of an accusation to make here. And apparently, during a White House press conference late Saturday, he suggested that China was knowingly responsible for spreading coronavirus and noting that there could be consequences once the United States completes their investigation into how the virus crossed Chinese borders. So I'm getting alarmed by all this war talk. And apparently there's some more naval assets making the rounds around the South China Sea here. And before we all get caught up in this China lab origins conspiracy theory, because the World Health Organization is saying they found no evidence that COVID-19 came from that Wuhan lab. We're not really sure who to believe, but just remember, Iraqi's weapons of mass destruction, Saddam's nuclear weapons, he has them under his bed in his bedroom. Remember all those lies we were told? Keep those in mind here. Don't forget, the research that was being done at that Wuhan BSL-4 lab was funded by the United States, contracting out this stuff. All right, Fox News anchor Chris Wallace grilled House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for being critical of Donald Trump's response to the coronavirus outbreak, while she encouraged people in San Francisco to visit Chinatown in late February. And by the way, Nancy Pelosi has now deleted that video of herself in Chinatown in February. But the internet is forever. Once it's on the internet, there's no taking it back. Problem is, I'm somewhat appalled by politicians who are still politicians in the face of what we are being told is a serious biological threat. Nancy Pelosi is still out there playing politics. It doesn't matter what Donald Trump does, it's bad. Doesn't matter what the Democrats do, it's good. Immigrants are good, Donald Trump is bad. And they can't let go. They can't step back and look at the larger picture and say, what is best for the nation as a whole right now? All right, we're going to take a phone call now from Dustin in New Jersey. Aloha, Dustin. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I want to let you know I don't know if you saw the deaths in New Jersey went up, and Florida are going up. Mike, I want your listeners, don't listen to Trump or Nancy Pelosi. Do what you got to do for your family. I said this before, worry about your own self-preservation. Don't worry about these people, because what they tell you and what the actual truth is two different things. These people don't care about us. They're the ones who bailed out Wall Street and the banks and the airlines. So, and you got your $1,200 check if you even got it. What a joke that is, right? If you look at the whole, they're going to bail out the oil industry now. But yet,
yes, they have to.
You're happy, but Mike, we're all happy with our $1,200 nothings. That's nothing. That is nothing with the amount of money they've been given to these businesses in the bailout since 2008. That is like nothing burgers. It's a joke, you know. But like, Mike, you got to take care of your own interest, right?
Yes.
Joe, Miles from Maine, James from Tokyo. I haven't heard from him, Mike. I'd like to know what's going on in Tokyo because I heard it wasn't too good over there. I don't know if you heard about the stories coming out of Japan, but the cases are going up. Singapore, Sweden, the deaths are going up. So I mean, this is not over. And I still go back to we have the ability to know what's going on if you just think and sit. If you protect yourselves, you protect your family. That's all that matters, you know.
Yes.
But like to say this is a non-issue, it's just doing hurt to yourself because you don't think these people in Washington know. Remember Burr? Was it Richard Burr, the guy who sold his stock before everybody else, obviously else, because he has insider knowledge when he did the he had the intelligence briefings, right?
Yes.
What did he tell his group of elite, local, the richer class of us? He said that this is like the Spanish flu. I still believe that. We're not near. What was it? What they say? It's not the beginning of the end. It's the end of the beginning. That's. I still believe that, Mike. I think this is not even near that point because if we're opening up the country now, but you see, like in Florida, human beings are being human beings. They're not going to obey that social distancing rule, right? So they're just going to go out and do what they're going to do.
No, we're getting reports from New York that the lockdown is already starting to fail. People are just going on out. Now, back during the 1918 flu, people wore face masks, but they didn't stand apart from each other, and they went about their lives and they went to work. And, I think something along that model might work here a little bit, but we can't keep everybody at home under house arrest and expect this economy to survive.
Oh, no, we can't. Yeah, we can't, but there's like a timeline. Like you can't go right back to work, but you can't just all of a sudden not. I mean, there's a fine line to go, but we never been in this kind of a situation before. But you just can't dismiss it as just like being the regular flu or, like I said, I went back, like I called yesterday. Why would Russia cancel, postpone the Victory Day parade unless it's not serious?
Oh, okay,
This is a serious thing.
Dustin, okay. You seem to have a very bipolar view of the world, that either it's a horrifically evil disease or that some people believe it's a complete hoax. And the truth is, we all know there's a virus out there. We all know that people are getting sick. We all know that some people are dying. But what is emerging as the consensus view is that the government overreacted. And as Ron Paul says, they may have made a hideous mistake with all this lockdown stuff.
Yeah, but Mike,
and Ron Paul's a doctor.
Explain some of these Republicans calling it a hoax or a sniffle.
Well, don't forget that the word hoax was inserted into the discussion when Donald Trump was saying the Democrats were playing a hoax. In terms of the virus itself. He himself never said the virus was a hoax. And you got to be very, very careful that you're not taking a word out of its original context. Okay. Nobody is saying that the virus is a hoax, except for those who are trying to make fun of those people who think that, yes, there was a tremendous overreaction to this. The numbers are still down there with the flu. And I realize COVID-19 is not a flu, it's a viral pneumonia. But in terms of the number of people infected and the number of people who are dying from it, the numbers are down below the 2017-2018 flu season. And we didn't shut the country down for that. Anyway, listen, Dustin, we got to let you go. Got to take a break for commercials. Got more phone calls when we come back.
Did you know that you can be tracked and traced when you're online? With identity theft and cybercrimes on the rise, your passwords, your identity, and even your physical location can be revealed to complete strangers. Would you like to surf the internet anonymously and not have to worry about these threats? Well, now you can by visiting patriotinternet.com. For about $2 per month, patriotinternet.com will conceal your IP address and your physical location, allowing you to browse the web, send emails, and instant message anonymously. patriotinternet.com will bypass filters, block sites, and keyword blocking. You can also bypass logging by your router and your ISP. With patriotinternet.com, there is no software to install and uses 128-bit encryption for your protection. When using wireless hotspots, patriotinternet.com shields your information from identity thieves and is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Protect your identity and your freedom with anonymous internet access from patriotinternet.com. Visit patriotinternet.com today.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. Join Mike on the air. Call toll-free 800-313-9443. 800-313-9443.
And welcome back to our show here. A reminder that Republic Broadcasting Network is in the middle of a fundraiser. And yes, we're always in the middle of a fundraiser. We are that tight. We are that short, if you will. And don't forget the Front Sight Training Academy promotion, which is on for a limited time only. For a one-time donation of $500, you will receive, as a premium, a $25,000 lifetime Commander membership. And that's a good deal. In anybody's book, that's a good deal. Meanwhile, if you can help out a little bit, the postal address to send a check, money order, or if you prefer anonymity cash, is Republic Broadcasting Network, 2251 Double Creek Drive, number 302, Round Rock, Texas, 78664. The phone number where you can make a credit or debit card donation is 800-724-2719, extension 3. The network thanks you. We're going to go back to the phones now to Keith Rogers. Keith, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Mike, good afternoon there, too. I was noticing a couple of YouTube videos where they were talking about these small business loans, that they only went to publicly traded businesses. And that's why there's such a uprising about a second relief package. Now, the other thing I called about, during your next break there, Mike, you might scroll down your webpage there and look at the video. I forget the title, but it's basically something about a hoax. And this is a pre-White House press briefing, to where one of the guys enters the room and says, "You don't need your mask." And he goes on to talk to the guy there and talks about the so-called fatality or mortality rates and stuff like that, you know. And the one guy says, so it's a hoax? And he says, well, it's not really a hoax. So what I would suggest is, I've heard you say this before, you know, that an act of terrorism is causing fear. And I think there's some Title 18 violations here too with the subversion of this country. In lieu of what I read yesterday about this whole deal was to circumvent China's technology, especially in the medical field, where they, with 1.4 billion people, most of their communications between doctors and stuff are done by video conferencing, and that's what we're seeing done here now also. May not be video, but at least they're making phone calls to patients and stuff. But anyway, the gist of the story was, though, is that the U.S. is trying to get all of its allies to pull all commerce and stuff out of China, and Japan is leading that right now.
Yes.
And it was because of the fear. However, well, it's the fear of the national security state, I guess you call it. But what was interesting, though, is one thing they are adapting heavily from China is the national security state, where you've seen the videos probably of in China where they can facial recognition, someone walking down the street, and they can tell your credit score or social credit score and everything like that, you know. But this seems like this is going to be what's being adopted there. And that's why I'm a firm believer that the so-called fear panic of this 5G will be rolled out probably in lieu of like the Bill Gates medical tattoo type stuff, to where the 5G is just going to be basically a tracking system. It's you know, and of course there may be some health risk to that too. But anyway, I think that during your next break you should watch that video. What's on your page there, and then I'll listen for your comments after that. Okay.
Okay. Anything
All
else?
right. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks an awful
No,
lot.
that's it.
We're going to switch over to Richard in Chicago. Richard, welcome to the show. What's on your mind? Richard in Chicago. Okay, I guess we lost him. Getting on back to
Yes.
Richard, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're on the air. What's on your mind today?
Hi. Yes, I just would like to remind people about the amount of financial incentives that seem to be involved here. I mean, it's amazing how much this is politicized and impeding on our constitutional rights. But I mean, people should be reminded how much these organizations, such as the CDC, are private for-profit companies. The World Health Organization, it's getting a majority of its funding, like more than 50%, from what I've heard from Bill Gates. And so he basically has, he has say over, pretty much the direction the organization takes. And I mean, of course we know there's a vaccine profit, that some people are concerned with. I do think, though, that the economic situation, I mean, you yourself and a lot of us are aware it's not been a good economy. If you really study the information out there, Trump claims it's been a great economy, but it hasn't. And because we're connected globally now, I mean, I can see Europe being connected as well, where, the economy of the United States would not go down without Europe's economy going down with it at this point. So, I mean, the entire Western banking system and corporations are invested, in having a fall guy for the economic situation. I'm really siding with John Stadmiller on that point, where I do think that this is a perfect excuse. I don't think it matters where it came from. If it just came on its own, or if any country weaponized it. But I mean, doctors all across the nation are coming out on video and admitting how every case that you stay at the hospital is COVID-19 for a death.
Richard.
You get
Richard, I got to put you on hold.
Okay.
Okay, stay on the line. I'm going to come right back to you after these words from our sponsor.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Is the Second Amendment your line in the sand? Is the United States Constitution important to you? Are you worried about gun confiscation? You need to join us for free at gunconfiscation.com. At gunconfiscation.com, you will meet like-minded patriots, get the latest Second Amendment news, and find anything you need to prepare for gun confiscation. Visit gunconfiscation.com today. That's gunconfiscation.com. Which side are you on?
Talk Right, the conservative app offered by TalkStream Live that caters exclusively to the conservative talk radio community. Here you'll see only talk shows and podcasts from the conservative right, all the big broadcast names and online digital shows in one place. Talk Right makes it easy to find all your favorite conservative talkers with all the upscale features you come to expect from TalkStream Live. Keep up with the fast-paced political world. Download Talk Right today from Google Play or the App Store.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We here at RBN are working with Front Sight Firearms Training Institute to bring our audience the best in combat, tactical, and defensive firearms training. Whether you're a private citizen who is new to firearms or you have a concealed weapon permit and want a level of training that surpasses what you've received from your local gun range, Front Sight provides priceless education and skills taught by seasoned law enforcement, military, and private citizen instructors to levels that far exceed law enforcement and military standard. With nearly 1 million responsible citizens trained from every town, city, and state from across the United States, Front Sight has bolstered the Patriot movement to a whole new level. Contact Dan Sutterfield by phone at 573-762-2356 or 573-465-2356 or shoot him an email at domedan, DOMEDAN at hotmail.com. This is a limited time opportunity. Don't miss it.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When your doctor tells you you have bad cholesterol or blockages in the arteries, what do? When diet and exercise is not enough, we try medications and hope for the best. For the last 2 decades, I have been telling people about a natural method to help solve these problems and more. Extendovite can help maintain cardiovascular health and lower blood lipid levels in adults. The 7 herbs in Extendovite are known to work together synergistically to get the results we hope for. There are many testimonials on Extendovite's effect on circulatory-related ailments. Get Extendovite today to start your journey back to a healthier life. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or see us on amazon.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When all this twisted steel was swept away, did these remaining holes reveal what's really happened?
Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with Richard in Chicago, and Richard was going over the numbers here. And if you could just sort of pick up where you left off. Richard, are you there? Okay, we seem to have lost Richard then. Responding to Keith Rogers, I did look at that
I'm here,
video.
Michael. I'm sorry, Michael. I'm here. Hello?
Yes, okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I had it on mute again. Doctors all over the country, though, have been coming out on videos admitting the amounts that they are being persuaded. I mean, this one doctor came out with the full letter, and he read it. Basically, there are 2 codes for COVID-19. One, that they definitely have the COVID-19 strain, have been tested for it, and the other where it's as far as a possibility, they can't rule out that it could be related. And hospitals are getting $13,000 for every patient, not death, mind you, just for a patient who has it, even if they survive. Every patient they get $13,000 for if they say that it's a patient who had COVID-19 when they came in. And as far as the deaths are concerned, that of course adds to that and then $39,000 for every patient they put on a respirator. But the numbers for other things this season, kidney disease, heart disease, Crohn's disease, I believe was also mentioned. A lot of these other things, we're not getting any numbers of deaths for this season. So everything is getting shifted over to the COVID-19 column. And as the weeks turn into months here, I think I encourage all of the listeners out here to do their own research, and to see how many people died of all these other ailments for the season. I find it amazing that people like Dustin, they question the official narrative of everything in the corporate media when it comes to our justification for wars in the Middle East, for example. But Dustin is so willing to believe the official numbers that we're getting about deaths and cases. It seems that the amount of people who actually have it with no symptoms, if you actually factor all those in, then it really drops the amount of people who have died significantly as well. But I mean, yeah, this incentivizing of hospitals to mark people down, and just by marking them down, you get $13,000. And the doctor who was reading the letter, he admitted that to think that this doesn't influence how doctors do the autopsy is preposterous. He's been doing this for over 30 years, he says, and it certainly is. I don't want to take up any more time. I've been a daily listener for 8 years, and I love your show, Michael. I'm a journalist myself, and you've been a big influence on that. But I'll let some other callers get on, and thank you for taking my call.
All right. Thank you very much. Remember what I said at the beginning of the show is that what we're dealing with appears to be a tremendous overreaction by the government, but they're not going to admit they made a mistake. They're just going to say, oh, that Ron Paul, what a conspiracy nut he is. And so by offering to financially incentivize medical establishments to see COVID all the time, they're trying to generate numbers so they can say, well, we weren't all that far off. But it's like the witch hunts in Europe. When you pay people to find witches, they'll see witches everywhere. And that's exactly what's going on now with COVID-19. Before I take the next phone call, though, I do want to respond to Keith Rogers. I did look at the video. And yeah, the individual in the room is saying that the actual death rate, according to the figures he's seen, is 0.1 to 0.3%. And again, that's right down in the range for the ordinary seasonal flu. So take it for what it's worth. Okay, we're going to go back to the phones. Andy in Texas, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Well, hi, Mike. Hey, listen, I think a lot of people need to take a look at who our president really is. For goodness sakes, this guy is a two-time billionaire. He was bankruptcy twice, and he got bailed out by the Rothschilds. Shadle Elderson, he's I don't know if that's the right name or how.
Sheldon Adelson.
It came to my mind when Shadle. Okay. So this guy bailed him out. Okay, Sheldon. Okay. All right. So he bailed this guy out twice, and this guy became a billionaire twice. Okay. If people think that this guy is not up in the world of what's going the hell on right now, people are crazy. Okay. He's an actor. That's why they got him on TV early on in his relationship with this whole world. They wanted him to be an actor, and he was. I'm telling you straight up, this guy was picked to be here because of this particular moment that's going on right now. He's the guy who's supposed to see the dollar fall. He's the guy that's and what's really crazy is they're making it very obvious, and people aren't seeing it. With all this push, I mean, all these people coming up, this Spassky, this Bill Gates, all these people coming up and pushing this thing to an outrageous pandemic, and it's all over TV, and they're just pushing the heck out of it. Either they're making it very obvious, and there's something coming, that second wave. They keep talking about the second wave. Maybe that's when they release what the heck they're planning on doing. But at this particular point, all we got right now is fake. And nobody's calling it out, and people are still wearing those stupid masks, and they're doing all this stuff to make this thing look real. And I have never worn a mask since this thing's gone on. I'm not particularly going to do it. And if people refuse, I've only had a couple of confrontations, not going into that. But This is absolutely crazy, Mike. What's going on?
Well, again, you're dealing
Donald
with
Trump.
I'm
Donald
sorry?
Trump is a puppet. Donald Trump is a puppet, Mike.
Aren't they all?
100% puppet. No, he really is. This guy is a sellout. He's been a sellout. He's a Jewish fool. Have you seen the awards on his wall in his office? He's so proud of them, and they're all Jewish awards. This guy is nothing for the American people. He went over and he did what no other president ever did. He moved the capital to Jerusalem. How in the heck did he have that power? He didn't. He wanted to get the approval of the American people for doing that. I mean, this is all crazy. Look at the Federal Reserve. That's your guy. That's the guy that's taking us down right now. They're taking us down right now. They're blowing up our entire economy. They're blowing up everything. Everybody's losing everything right now. And if people don't have gardens put up, people don't have a clue what's going on, there's going to be some starvation here, Mike. A lot of it. I'm not just, seriously, they're cutting off the beef production, the slaughterhouses, the chickens. People are dumping milk. There's onions rotting all over this place because there's no restaurants working right now. This is dire straight, Mike. This is beyond control. And people are going about their business. They still think these stores are going to be open at some point, and they're not. This is part of the plan. Anybody who's been researching this for any length of time knows this is it. And at some point, we're probably going to have our power and our water shut off. Because guess what? Municipal places own those things. And guess why the cities and stuff own that? Because they could turn it off anytime they wanted. Notice whenever you didn't pay your water bill, they shut your water off, or your electricity, they shut that off too. Well, because it's a municipal ownership, which is a corporation, and we all should really know that. This is absolutely incredible what these people are doing to us right now. And this is not about COVID-19. People need to get off of that kick. I'm getting tired of hearing doctors telling us that this is this and this is that, and it can't possibly be. It's all a distraction. The object is going to be, we're going to get an ID chip, and we're going to end up being somewhere where we can't buy or sell. Cash is going away. And this is the reality. I mean, if people don't know this, so they haven't been paying attention.
What do you suggest that we do?
I suggest that we all go back out there and go back to work. And if you have to buy a generator, borrow money, borrow a generator. Also, get as much water as you can. Go back to your dang restaurant and start putting stuff together and doing what you can to make your restaurant or make your business, your printing company work again. Go do it. Go do it. Do whatever you have to do to reopen. These people are being ridiculous about this. There's absolutely no reason for the American people to react the way that we did, other than the fact that they've been poisoning us our whole damn life and programming us. If you want to turn the virus off, turn your TV off. Don't turn the TV on. When the TV's off, there's no virus. When the TV's on, there's a hell of a virus going on out there.
Called fear.
And yet they faked some of these things on us too. They faked it all, Mike. They faked all of it.
I
Come
disagree
on,
with you on that
America,
part.
wake the hell up.
I disagree with you on that part. I think there's a real virus and there's really sick people, but it's definitely been overblown.
I agree, Mike.
And it's definitely being exploited politically.
Absolutely, but they're killing people for it. They're going to kill more people than this virus has ever even touched, the way they're doing this. We're throwing food away, Mike. We didn't have a whole lot of food in this country to begin with because of the floods these last few years. They're throwing food away. They're wasting milk. They're paying dairy farmers to go out of business. Did you see that one? Read that one. Look that one up.
Well,
They're
I,
paying
I
them,
have
not
a problem. Okay, I have a problem with some of those stories because if people aren't able to go to the restaurants, they still need to eat. And that means they go to the supermarket and they buy the same volume of food and take it home. So I'm not sure if the total food wastage has really gone up by that much. I know that there have been meat plant closures because of the contamination from the virus. I certainly read about the dairy farmers who are having to dump milk because most states ban the sale of raw milk, and the pasteurizing processing companies aren't buying right now. But I think there's still plenty of food out there. The problem is the supply chain, getting it from where it's produced to where it needs to be consumed.
Hey, Mike, give us some thought. Give us some thought. All these restaurants, how many people eat all their food? How much waste comes from thousands upon thousands of restaurants? Tons and tons of waste. So all of this stuff, even if we're not eating it, it's going to these restaurants and it's being put out there, and these people are putting it on their plate and then they're throwing it away, and it's garbage, 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 garbage.
Well,
You see
I don't
what
know
I'm
about
saying?
you, but every time
That's
Claire
going
and
to
I
take the industry down, Mike. That's going to take the industry down. It's going to take everything down. I just watched
Andy,
the video the other day.
Andy, my
Yes, sir.
turn.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Every time Claire and I go out to a restaurant, which is not that often, but we got a birthday coming up here, we take whatever's left over with us. We get a box and we take it home with us and we have it for another meal. We don't leave stuff on the plate to throw away. And I think that's probably true of most people, or the restaurants wouldn't have those take-home boxes.
Yeah, but think of all the lettuce. Think of all of the lettuce and stuff for garnish. All the garnishes and stuff that people don't eat. Think of these are all part of the production and stuff. I mean, look at how many onions can this country possibly use? A ton of them, because onions it's a staple. It's almost like ketchup.
Yes.
It's a staple. People eat that. And these things are going to waste. I just watched a video of the farmer who's losing his ass. Used to have 300 trucks a day pulling onions out of his place, and now he's down to 122 trucks pulling onions out of his fields.
Okay.
He showed us piles of onions that are rotting and stuff. That's just one. And then there's milk people they're being paid. Look that up. Everybody, look that up. There's dairy farms that are being paid to go out of business. Dump your milk out, go out of business.
Okay, Andy, thank you for the
All
phone
right,
call.
no, I took up too much time. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we're going to let you go and switch over to Jim in Montana. Jim, welcome to the show. What's on your mind? Jim in Montana. Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wrote down my speaking points so I can get through this a little more timely fashion. Yeah, absolutely. Dustin, it blows my mind, the kind of information research that you're able to do, and how well informed you usually are, and how you're not seeing it, how you're not seeing the numbers, and 40,000 cases for deaths we're at now, right? Okay, well, let's just take away 10,000 of that, saying that the faulty test and all the BS diagnosis, 30,000. That's nothing. That's nothing as far as diseases and cases go, okay? When you have a population of 6 million people, okay, you're going to have, deaths on the thousands. You're going to have deaths. The only difference is it's being reported now. The media is covering it, so, now we're going to be scared. You think those paper masks are doing anything? Make me wear a paper mask. Oh, please, you guys just make me wear a paper mask, just so, because it's insensitive of me. You sound like one of those snowflake liberals. You don't make me wear the freaking mask. Why don't you, if you're so scared, why don't you wear a full biohazard suit when you go out? instead of making us give up all our liberties. Okay. George Washington sent a letter to Boston in 1770, whatever. Because he thought that Great Britain was affecting America with smallpox, biological warfare. I kid you not. Look it up. Okay. Did they shut the country down? Did they cuddle in fear and no. If they could see this today, what a bunch of sissies they would think we are. This is what they sacrificed and went through all that heck to watch us do this. Please hold me over, Mike. I'll be done in like 2 minutes on the other
Yeah,
side.
I'm going to hold you over because I want to add a postscript to the story you just told. We'll be right back.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure, resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, keep it today.
Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we have been building our online store. Well, we have been focusing on bringing you the best talk show host in the country. Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we also want our listeners to have products they can use every day and in times of emergency. We have added new products each week to our store. Your support of this network, plus products at the best prices, is a win-win situation. Check out our new store. Go to our website, republicbroadcasting.org, and click on the online store located at the top of our website. Together, we can continue to grow RBN and help our listeners prepare for the future. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and click on our online store or call us
800-724-2719 extension 3. 800-724-2719 extension 3.
What would you say if I told you we have a new tool that will increase production and lower maintenance costs for your meat processing company? And it would pay for itself in just 6 weeks.
When pigs fly!
The new Ease Off Model Easy 4 replaces old spring-style carcass droppers and is faster, safer, and more reliable. The Ease Off lowers or lifts 1,000 pounds to or from your rail automatically using our remote control.
Sounds expensive. Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to try the Ease Off? It installs fast with just 3 bolts in place of your current dropper. The effortless operation will reduce fatigue and injuries, speed up your line, eliminate downtime, and increase profit.
How can I order my Ease Off?
Go to easeoff.com, EAZEOFF.com, and hurry because we are offering $200 off on the new Easy 4 for a limited time. Easeoff.com. We make pigs fly. Cows too. Ease Off LLC, Summersville, Missouri, 417-932-6419.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty.
Welcome back to our show. Here we're talking with Jim in Montana. Jim, finish up.
Yeah, Michael. If you've really done your research, Dustin's always like, well, come on, people, get informed, whatever. Okay, well, I implore you, sir. If you were so informed, then you would really know about the effect of colloidal silver. There's an article with a doctor who, this lady had incredible results with the sickness she was having, and she was breastfeeding the child, and it did wonders for her. So the doctor took colloidal silver to a medical lab to get tested, and they threw every virus they could throw at it, and colloidal silver kicked every one of those viruses' butts. Everything. They said it has a 99.9% effect rate on bacteria and viruses and whatever. Lysol has the same thing, and if you read the back of the can of Lysol, it says kills human coronavirus. Okay, well, the difference is Lysol, it's not good for your human body. Well, colloidal silver, it's fine. And you take some colloidal silver and whatever, and it is like having a body shield of Lysol. Okay, and then you throw some zinc and whatever, and stuff too. You're fine. You're fine. I mean, are we supposed to trust the same people that give us that crappy medication, and the stuff on TV comes up, you'll cure this little twitch in your butt, but you're gonna destroy your liver and your heart and cough up blood, blah, 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 die. And these are the people we're supposed to be trusting, okay? You know what? Anyway, Mike, I have kind of an idea. I think, I think we should put up a website by somebody that we trust. Like you, really, I would nominate, and we put up that website. We say, hey, everybody that's willing to march to Capitol Hill, everybody that's willing to march to Capitol Hill, put a check mark, put a vote on this website right here. And if we get the numbers, 400, 500,000 people, like, yeah, I'm willing, I'm ready. And we set a date, and we go. We march to Congress. Okay, we get there 400, 500,000 strong, whatever. Okay, and then on that same website, and then we're gonna get the attention. We're gonna get the notice. Okay, we'll get some regular mainstream network there, and we'll have we'll have the attention of the people that are against the corrupt politicians that are feeding the BS to us. But they don't know about alternative media as much, we'll have their attention. And what we'll do is like, hey, you guys, nation, visit this website. And everybody that wants us to go ahead and peacefully walk in to Congress, into Capitol, and take the seat. And I'm not saying we grab the senators and everybody and throw them out on the bus.
Jim, we got to let you go.
No seats.
Jim, we got to let you go for station identification. We got more callers waiting on the other side of the station break. We'll be right back.
Talk Right, the conservative app offered by TalkStream Live that caters exclusively to the conservative talk radio community. Here you'll see only talk shows and podcasts from the conservative right, all the big broadcast names and online digital shows in one place. Talk Right makes it easy to find all your favorite conservative talkers with all the upscale features you come to expect from TalkStream Live. Keep up with the fast-paced political world. Download Talk Right today from Google Play or the App Store.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late night premiere show of Red Pill Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners. So that you can get involved in the activism, please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. To enter the discussion, to book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the red pill.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network because you can handle the truth.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you'll find out what the Fukushima's going on.
And welcome back to our show, hour number 2. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. Before we go back to the phone calls, though, I want to share a little story about George Washington, because prior to the American Revolution, there had been hardly any smallpox in the American colonies. They'd been very, very lucky that way. Smallpox was mostly brought in by the British troops who were invading to put down the revolution. And they had a lot of smallpox. 90% of the people on those British prison barges died of smallpox. And by the time the disease really took hold, 2 out of every 5 Americans were coming down with it, and a lot of people died. And it struck at George Washington's Continental Army in Valley Forge. And Washington himself had had smallpox when he was down in Barbados as a young man. And apparently either there or somewhere else, he had heard that if you took the pus from a smallpox pustule and inserted it into the body of a healthy person, that would ward off the disease. They didn't even call it vaccination back then. And you have to understand, the pus was mostly dead smallpox cells. So they couldn't reproduce and they couldn't infect, but they could trigger an immune response. And Washington said, I'm going to do this to preserve the life of our army. Congress said, no, you're out of your mind. You're going to kill them all. Washington went ahead and did it, and did save his army from smallpox using that. It's a little historical footnote. Okay, we're going to go back to the phones to Mark in North Carolina. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Mike? A couple of things. One is, I understand they're giving more money to hospitals that use these, what do you call them again?
Ventilators.
Not respirators.
Ventilators.
Ventilators, yeah. And which are actually probably killing patients. So what you're seeing really, I think, is mass murder, because that's what if I think they're taking probably patients that are really not that sick, may not even need to be in a hospital, and they're putting on these ventilators, and they're killing them, because the ventilators are, they say 80 to 90% of the people on the ventilators die.
Yes.
So this, to me, is, I think, needs to be investigated, and I think people need to go to prison for this, okay? Whether doctors, administrators, or whoever else. The other thing is, I want to point out something. What we see going on now, I guess you could say, separates the wheat from the chaff, or chaff, whatever it's called.
Yes.
We're finding out who the real patriots are and who the collaborators are, okay? Now, there's a show on Good TV called Fault Lines TV, right?
Yes.
With Elise Stranahan, a former Breitbart supporter, former Breitbart reporter, and Garland Nixon, who used to be a Bernie Sanders supporter, okay? And the fact that right now is Lee Stranahan is showing himself to be a collaborator, okay? He pretends he's a populist. Today, he went even further than ever. He was insulting people who are coming down on Bill Gates, saying what Gates really is. And to me, Gates is a Nazi and a eugenist, which is really the same thing. Eugenist and Nazi is really the same thing. He's saying that Gates should start looking into suing people for slander, okay? Because he's being insulted like that. So this clown is defending Gates. He's defending Fauci. He's defending all of the establishment. Now, I just want to make something clear, Mike. I don't say that this. I think this is some kind of a virus. I don't know if it's man-made or it's natural, but it is a virus, and it's killing some people and making other people sick. It definitely, from what I gather now, doesn't seem to be killing many more people than the actual flu does. When we look at the death count and how sick people are getting from it. Okay, so I believe what's happening is the Gates, people like Gates, are using this as an opportunity. You know what was it? Rahm Emanuel said about never let a crisis go to waste. Well, this
Correct.
is what they're doing. They're using this as an opportunity to put that poison vaccine into people, and which would probably kill way more people than this virus is killing. Right?
Could be a
And
repeat of
another thing-
1976.
Yeah. And another thing that concerns me too about it is this is man-made. Gates has dirty hands involved in it. And what worries me is that something else may be coming down the line. Okay, something even worse than this with Gates, because they say, all right, this isn't good enough, then we'll really have to hit him. Okay, that really worries me. I believe Gates, Fauci, and a whole bunch, the whole Gates Foundation and all need to be arrested. If I was the president, I don't expect them to do this, by the way, but if I was Trump, they would be arrested and they'd be taken down to Gitmo, and where they would be interrogated. We'd find out exactly what's going on, okay? Because to me, these people are dangerous. They have a history, especially Gates, has a history of being a eugenicist who wants to lower the population. I guess you could say, what's the guy's name? Malthusian, Malthus. That guy back in, I think, the 1700s, who always was, one lower.
Malthus.
Yeah, one lower population. That's what Gates is about. He's got a history of it. I mean, his father, he brags that his father was the head of Planned Parenthood in Seattle. He also has a history, I believe, part of his family is related to Thomas Watson, the Nazi IBM administrator, okay, who was one of Hitler's biggest fans and actually helped, that numbering there with the concentration camps. Okay?
Yes.
This guy is bad news, Mike. People got to understand it. This man is a murderer, murdered hundreds of thousands of people and crippled others and sterilized others with his vaccines, especially in India and Africa. This is documented already. He was kicked out of India already, and I think the Africans kicked him out already too. He should have had an arrest warrant placed on him, okay? But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. Mike, wake up. We got to wake people up, okay? We got to make them understand who these people are, who these what's he called, Malthusians really are. Look at the Georgia Guidestones, folks. Just look at the Georgia Guidestones population they want. And I think they probably want an even lower population now because they feel the robots can replace us. And Mike, that's about it. Hey, buddy. Take it
All
easy.
right. Well, thanks an awful lot for the phone call. We're going to switch to Harry in southeastern Indiana. Hello, Harry. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Good day, Mike. China had this little secret cave, that was full of viruses, bat viruses and that. And all of a sudden, France wanted to help China build a biolab called Wuhan. Well, the United States wanted to jump in on that. So the Trump's good doctor that was running the National Institute to Health at the time decided to throw in a few $1 million on it. Little lab in North Carolina wanted to throw a few bucks in on it so they could get results and samples too. So after everybody pitched in a few bucks, China went and investigated this cave, and they pulled out 11 RNA viruses and 3 that were ACE2 pathway. They can infect the cell that way. And out of the 3 ACE viruses, or ACE2 viruses, one of them somehow all of a sudden got 2 strands of HIV genome incorporated into it. And of course, running the ACE backbone, you've got the RNA strip that's what it takes to infect the cells. And then you've got all these add-on little strips that you can toss into it too, and it'll incorporate those into it and give it add-on functions, and gain of function experiment, I think you call it. And, it works really well. You can add on a dozen different functions onto any of the backbone, and there shouldn't be a little confusing as to whether the HIV virus was the first to add the extra protein on that would kill a white blood cell. Now, the normal SARS virus, it attacks the ACE2 pathways in the lungs. I think there's some in the heart, the brain, the kidney, maybe the smooth muscle cells in most of the organs or something like that, But one of these three strands of the SARS going around has the two proteins that coming in off of the HIV strip, and that allows it to kill the white blood cells.
Mm-hmm.
So now not only can those cells attack the ACE2 cells in the lungs, but it can attack the white blood cells that go to try to kill it. And it's supposed to be a 1-for-1. One white blood cell will kill one of the HIV, Corona HIV, whatever you want to call it, cells.
Okay.
But the difference between the two is if HIV virus attacks a white blood cell, it can replicate within the white blood cell. But with the SARS HIV, it can't replicate within the white blood cell, but it'll kill it. So it's got like an anti, it'll, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. You sound quite knowledgeable about the exact mechanisms by which this works here. And can I ask what it is you do?
Not really much of nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, thank you for the phone call and thank you for the insights as to how the process works here. And I know that HIV was killing white cells. I didn't understand that it was basically an attempt to replicate inside the white cell that really doesn't work. And that's what killed it here. So we're going to let you go and switch over to Tom in Utah. Tom in Utah, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. Talking to family members that are living and working in New York. My daughter's out there working to help handicapped individuals. Anyway, she says that the primary problem in New York, number one, is ignorance. That's the biggest killer of all.
It's not just confined to New York.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah,
Yes.
You're right. But the primary problem she sees there, now there is some colds and flus going around, which are not any more terrible than the normal ones. But when the people who have been so programmed and brainwashed by the media, they get terrorized and they fail. She said the number one cause of death in New York, or number two, there's two causes. Number one would be stress. Number two, deprivation. Between those two, she said, you got a person that's already at the edge, circling around the drain. Some people refer to that situation. And all you got to do is just give them a little stress, raise their cortisol levels and lower their endorphins. Their immune system begins to go towards failure to thrive. And that's all it takes to take these people in. And by the way, the mayor and the governor were stripping the medical facilities out months ago. So, they're trying to blame Trump on the problems they have in providing medical care for these people. They were in the process of shutting down hospitals and clinics already. Now this thing, apparently they've taken advantage of that. And of course, getting that extra funding, if you can just get somebody marked as a victim of COVID, what an opportunity for them to fleece. Now, where's that money coming from?
I think
Who's paying the pay?
well, ultimately, it's the taxpayers. You know, when they talk about government spending, it isn't government spending, it's taxpayer spending. I think the money is being funneled through Medicare. I could be wrong on that, though.
Well, the fact is we're paying for it, aren't we?
Yes.
And the medical community is benefiting, by the way, from that. And it really bothers me that my fellows don't step up to the plate. Now, I have heard a couple of people come forward. Let's see, there's an individual from here in Utah who went on YouTube and was explaining how she had been coerced, you know, like the other individual said, to make sure that these patients, even if they came in with common flu or cold, or they got wrote up as a COVID patient. Oh, the other thing that's killing a lot of people is they're being denied their critical operations.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're being snookered. That's all I can tell you. And it breaks my heart because my pathologists have turned out to be psychopaths. Anyway, that's it, Mike.
All right. Well, Tom, thank you very much for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Charles in St. Petersburg. Hello, Charles. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind? Okay, we lost Charles. So let's go to Leanne in North Carolina. Hello, Leanne. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Aloha, Mike. I've been listening for a while. First time calling in. I wanted to, if I could, address both Dustin and Mark from North Carolina and pick up where they were.
Yes.
For Dustin, I understand that he's afraid, right? A lot of people are very scared.
Yes.
And I'm going to start out and tell you that my cousin died last week from COVID, and his mother just died yesterday. So it's very real. I'm not a denier that this is real, okay? But it is true that it's mostly the people that go on the ventilators that never come off. They're the ones dying, right?
Yes.
And I think that my attitude is very different from Dustin. I don't want to come off like I'm attacking him, but from the beginning, my daughter, I mean, she's 28, she's an adult, but she was deemed an essential worker, and she's a manager in retail, and she's had to work through this whole thing, and they actually banned them from wearing any masks or gloves or anything at work. So she's been exposed to this all along. So you can't have it both ways. And now these people are you know, oh, you have to do what's right. You're killing people by not wearing masks. You need to run away from everyone. It's just not true. And it's kind of becoming our version of Sharia law, in my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stanford is doing studies now. They've already identified hundreds of thousands of people who had been exposed. So it's likely millions of Americans have already had this, and they either didn't know it, they just thought they had the sniffles or something. You know, it's really not killing everyone like they say. It's just not. But it's nasty. Like I said, my family has suffered losses from this, and it's horrible when that happens. But that's not reality. The reality isn't that everyone's going to die because they walked past someone in a grocery store. It's just not. Okay, so sorry, Dustin, but that's how I feel. Like, you know, we're becoming Sharia Nazis, right? Put your mask on. You can't be there. Why are you there? Stay in your house. It's not okay. Okay, and then I wanted to pick up with Mark in North Carolina. First of all, you can't sue the doctors or any of these people because they are following the CDC and NIH protocols, and they're completely protected from any kind of recourse because that's their guideline. So everything would fall back on that, and they're doing what they're told. I think they're wrong too, but I think what the underlying issue, what's going on here, I live part-time in North Carolina and part-time on island. So I fly back and forth a lot. And I just got an update from Delta on my upcoming flight that they're now instituting biometric scanning. They've installed facial recognition at the Atlanta airport. I'm sure they did it in the others, but my connection's Atlanta.
Good luck in that one. Leanne, I got to put you on hold. Don't hang up. I'm going to come
okay.
right back to you after these words from our sponsors.
What would you say if I told you we have a new tool that will increase production and lower maintenance costs for your meat processing company? And it would pay for itself in just 6 weeks.
When pigs fly!
The new Ease Off Model EZ4 replaces old spring-style carcass droppers and is faster, safer, and more reliable. The Ease Off lowers or lifts 1,000 pounds to or from your rail automatically using our remote control.
Sounds expensive. Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to try the Ease Off? It installs fast with just 3 bolts in place of your current dropper. The effortless operation will reduce fatigue and injuries, speed up your line, eliminate downtime, and increase profit.
How can I order my Ease Off?
Go to easeoff.com, EAZEOFF.com, and hurry because we are offering $200 off on the new EZ4 for a limited time. Easeoff.com. We make pigs fly. Cows too. Ease Off LLC, Summersville, Missouri, 417-932-6419.
As a listener of RBN, you're surely concerned about being informed and being ready for whatever may come. Please consider the following questionnaire as a soul-jarring wake-up call. If you answer no to more than 2 of these following questions, you probably aren't going to make it through any major disruption in our country. The questions were compiled by people that have been there. Are you really ready? Do you own your own firearm for the primary defense and protection of you and your loved ones? Have you ever been professionally trained to stand against life-threatening behavior? Have you ever practiced enough to fire 500 rounds during a 2 to 4 day time frame, day and night? Can you load, unload, fire, and clear a jam in total darkness? Have all the adults in your household been professionally trained? Are you, life and death, comfortable with your abilities with pistol, revolver, shotgun, and rifle? Are you aware that everything that you do to prepare for an emergency is a waste of time, money, and energy? If you haven't honed your abilities to their highest level to protect and keep what you have, do you have the repair parts that will most likely be needed for each of your firearm, and do you have the ability to install those parts? Could you completely clean every firearm you own? Are you aware that your body won't go where your mind hasn't been? In other words, without proper training, followed by regular practice, you probably will not win a gunfight. Well, how did you measure up? Take the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to start correcting your deficiencies by receiving your Commander Lifetime Membership with Front Sight Firearms Training Facility. A one-time donation to RBN for $500 will give you a Commander Lifetime Membership at Front Sight as a tremendously huge thank you bonus. See details on RBN's webpage to make it happen. The clock is ticking. You had better be ready before it happens.
When all this twisted steel was swept away, did these remaining holes reveal what's really happened?
Welcome back to our show. We're talking with Leanne in North Carolina. And Leanne, you were telling us about how Delta Airlines just notified you they're going with biometric and facial recognition on your upcoming flight.
Yes, and it's been installed at Atlanta Airport. So, like I said, I'm sure it's the other airports as well, but I only have a connecting flight through Atlanta, so I don't know about the other. They didn't notify me of the others. But, we also have Trump announcing that they were going to set up checkpoints for interstate travel. They're trying to install apps on our phones that will tell people. This is CCP-style surveillance systems, and people need to wake up and understand that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of the situation. And China's you can look at China as the model because we are going to be just as enslaved as they are. That they're going to surveil everything we do. We're going to have a social credit system where if you don't take their vaccine or you don't say nice enough things about the government, you cannot fly, you cannot travel from state to state, you might not be able to buy food, right? And that's the issue. It's always the issue, right? People, it's a distraction. I mean, like I said, I'm not downplaying the virus at all. I know it's very real and it's very dangerous, but it's not. You're exactly right, Mike. They're overreacting, but they're doing it intentionally.
Yes.
Right. And again with Dustin, I feel bad. I like you, Dustin, but last week he's saying, people are acting as if they are crazy enough to start a war with China. What we have to keep in mind is the people that want us to go to war don't necessarily intend for us to win. They would much prefer the entire population of the earth was under as much control as China has of their population. So don't kid yourself to think that they're not willing to go to war with China. They don't lose. They don't lose by doing that. We do.
Yes, I agree with you on that one.
That's all. I just wanted to.
Okay, well, Leanne, thank you very much.
People need to check into their, to what's really happening, what the kind of draconian laws they're passing and what they're implementing in places. I just happened to find out about the airport because I have a flight coming up, right?
Well, thank you for
Otherwise,
the phone
did they
call.
make any announcements? Okay. Thanks, Mike, and thanks for everything you do. I love the show.
All right, thank you very much for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Tom in Florida. Hello, Tom. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Aloha, Michael. Good day to you. Yeah, Michael, I also want to say this. That guy that called in yesterday from Kentucky, man, he's going to have to give me some copyrights for the song he's trying to sing about Ping-a-ling. The guy started talking about Ping-a-ling and Ding-a-ling and all that. I think he could, being close to Kentucky, he could find a band to play a song called Ping-a-ling, bluegrass, whatever. But, yeah,
Well, I'll
Michael,
play
here's
the
what I want to talk
five-string
about.
banjo.
Yeah, he can play a banjo song, singing Ping-a-ling. But seriously, now what I want to talk about is real quickly. I heard today Michelle Obama, is going to run for with Biden. It looks like he might pick Michelle Obama, Michael. And I wouldn't be surprised. And then you have this AOC running around saying that's great that the oil is crashing, gas prices are going to be crashing, so the Green New Deal can come in for implementation with Joe Biden. And then on top of that, here in South Florida, we have a writer for the Miami Herald, Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel, talking about that it's great that Republicans that if Trump opens it up again, all these Republicans will get the coronavirus and die. There'll be a lot less Republicans to vote Republican for Trump. Can you imagine if that was the other way around?
Yeah, I can imagine if it was the other way around. But there's always
It'd
been
be
a
on
double
every major
standard when it
network.
comes to liberals.
Exactly. These liberals are off the charts. It's disgusting and disgraceful. So that's basically all I got, really, Michael, other than the fact that what's going on with can you imagine Biden and Michelle Obama? Biden's not going to be running the government. It'll be Barry Soetoro, Hussein Obama, and Michelle.
Yes.
You got guys like, what's his name? And always say, well, I vote Democrat because that's the only thing we got in the state. No. You got to wake up your state to the truth of the matter here, man. Come on. You want to keep flooding this country with all these illegals and all this other nonsense, nincompoop stuff. It's ridiculous, man. And people just don't get it. And they want to come after our guns as soon as Michelle and Joe Biden are there. I guarantee you. You think this is bad with the corona hoax virus? You wait till they start coming after your guns for every little thing. This is what it's all about. I'm starting to realize this virus thing, it ain't half as worse as it was in polio days. You can do a whole hour show on that, Michael, about polio
Yes.
and what they did in 1950s about polio compared to the coronavirus here. Now they're talking on Breitbart and Drudge today, Michael, that measles are going to be making a big roaring comeback. Measles, mumps.
Yeah.
Like you said about tuberculosis. Measles are going to come back like with a vengeance, they say. It's on the news today. The measles. So
Amazing. Just
I-
amazing. Well, I guess all those measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines didn't work then, did they?
I guess not.
All right. Well, Tom, we got to let you go. Take another break for commercials.
All right,
Got
God bless,
another-
Mike. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye. We'll be right back after these commercials.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Did you know that you can be tracked and traced when you're online? With identity theft and cybercrimes on the rise, your passwords, your identity, and even your physical location can be revealed to complete strangers. Would you like to surf the internet anonymously and not have to worry about these threats? Well, now you can by visiting patriotinternet.com. For about $2 per month, patriotinternet.com will conceal your IP address and your physical location, allowing you to browse the web, send emails, and instant message anonymously. patriotinternet.com will bypass filters, block sites, and keyword blocking. You can also bypass logging by your router and your ISP. With patriotinternet.com, there is no software to install and uses 128-bit encryption for your protection. When using wireless hotspots, patriotinternet.com shields your information from identity thieves and is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Protect your identity and your freedom with anonymous internet access from patriotinternet.com. Visit patriotinternet.com today.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
Well, they're stealing down on Wall Street and in Washington too. You know, it makes me wonder, what's a guy on Main Street to do? I've always tried to be an honest, upstanding kind of guy. But I must admit lately, I thought about giving something else a try. Oh, I want to be a pirate. I want to sail the seven seas. Yeah, I want to be a pirate.
Welcome back to our show here, and we're going to take a call from Tom in Utah, and I'm waiving the one call per caller per day rule because apparently Tom forgot something during his first phone call. So, Tom, what's on your mind?
Yeah, it's a senior moment, sadly, when you're 80. Anyway, I have had a friend who's driving, a long-haul driver. In fact, I have a couple of friends that are long-haul drivers. And this friend told me that normally he would deliver out into Manhattan and to Long Island and, of course, the other boroughs. He said he's now hauling produce from California to the edge of New Jersey, not going into the metropolitan area. So I'd like to know if that is true of everybody else that's hauling in there. So at 1 o'clock this morning, I called an old fireman friend from New York and got him to commit to make sure my daughter doesn't run out of staples. She's out there on Long Island helping the sick and disabled out there. And so It kind of makes you kind of panic when you find out your family members are going to the store and finding nothing all day. That was her report to me when I spoke to her Sunday. They'd been going to the grocery store out there in Long Island, finding nothing. Everything emptied. Anyway, that's all I wanted to do is just to give you that report that the truckers may be stopping at the edge of New York.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I just got an email saying the reason their dairy farmers are dumping all the milk is they can't find enough tank trucks and drivers to deliver it where it needs to go. I mean, there are all these food banks, all over the country who need anything, to give out to people. And they just can't connect them. They really can't. Anyway, Tom, thanks a lot for the phone call. Let's go to Kelly in Austin. Kelly, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. Every time Ocasio-Cortez opens her mouth, she exposes herself to be the ignoramus that everybody knows she is. She was delighted because she claimed that she thinks that the drop in oil prices, the collapse of the oil industry, would hasten the rise of alternative fuels or the green energy, and it won't.
It's going to do exactly the
Simple
opposite.
reason. It will do the exact opposite because those technologies are not cost competitive right now. You need much higher prices in the fossil fuel industries to drive the investment, and so in the so-called green sector, in order to make that competitive. So she might be, what she's really saying is that she just hates fossil fuels, and she wants to see misery imposed on everybody involved in the fossil fuel industry, whether it's oil and gas or coal, or frankly even uranium, which isn't a fossil fuel. But going on and on about the collapse of the oil industry, signaling the rise of the green energy, absolutely is ridiculous. The woman's an ignoramus. She do herself a lot of favors if she just shut her mouth.
Well, I guess she makes a really good bartender, but you're absolutely right. Her analysis of the oil prices and its impact on the Green New Deal is absolutely 180 degrees out of reality.
Well, I worked in the oil industry for years as a much younger geologist, and we knew that despite all the talk about the supposed the new green energy at that time, photovoltaic cells and whatever, that it was not going to be competitive because the cost per kilowatt hour was way too high to be competitive with fossil fuel generated energy. Or even nuclear energy at the time, and it's still the same thing. So while she's ballyhooing that, I mean, she really needs to go back to school. She supposedly has a degree in economics, but she didn't learn anything, obviously.
Obviously.
So that's all I have to say.
I'd ask for my money back from that educational institution.
She should.
The warranty
Mike,
come with
thanks
that
much.
diploma?
Pardon?
I said, does a warranty come with that diploma?
Unfortunately, with American educational systems, there's no warranty. There should be.
Darn. There should be. There absolutely should be. All right. Well, thanks a lot for the phone call. The phone lines are empty. Getting on back to Nancy Pelosi. Apparently, Senator Lindsey Graham tore into her today, saying that she, meaning Pelosi, hates Trump to the point of hurting our own nation. He's absolutely right about that. Nancy Pelosi does not care about you. She does not care about me. She does not care about the energy sector. She doesn't care about anything at all except getting Trump, getting Trump, getting Trump, getting Trump. That's it. And to me, she has abandoned her responsibilities and her obligations and her duty as a member of the House of Representatives, let alone Speaker of the House. She's abandoned all that just in favor of this visceral hate that she has for the president. Meanwhile, Lindsey Graham is out there saying that Trump is doing a darn good job in the midst of the crisis. Well, that remains to be seen, because if there was a tremendous overreaction, who was it who triggered the overreaction? Now, part of the blame has to go to that scientist in Great Britain who was predicting, 2.2 million deaths. Somewhere along the line, people were not doing their due diligence to find out just exactly what was going on here before they sounded the alarm. All right, we're going to take another phone call now. Ken in New York, welcome to the show. Ken, what's on your mind today?
I'm on eastern Long Island, and at least in Suffolk County, the stores that I've seen We don't have any problem. I mean, there are things like toilet paper not being available in some stores, but for the most part, food's not a problem.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well. So I don't know what truck drivers that other caller knows that are stopping at New Jersey. And I think the operant question here becomes, is somebody telling them to stop at the edge of New Jersey? Is somebody blocking them? Or are they just deciding they don't want to drive into metropolitan New York because of all the COVID-19 infections taking place?
Well, I don't know if really that many infections actually taking place in New York City, but I wouldn't want to go there anyway.
That was my
it's too
impression the
crowded
last
all the
time I went to New
time.
York.
It could be the chain. It may depend on the department. I mean, the food store, chain, whoever owns them, like one brand or another brand. And I don't believe that's the case with Walmart here either. They seem to be pretty well, with the exception that they're making you, for example, some stores, you can only take one or two of the same item. They're doing some rationing.
Yeah, we have that at our local Walmart as well. It's one item per customer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and let's see. We've got Pat in Fort Worth. Welcome to the show, Pat. What's on your mind today?
Well, I noticed something came out today that the demon rats don't want Trump up there drilling in Anwar because the vibrations from the drills to locate the gas and oil might mess up the mothers of the polar bears. And they might have to get their little kids and run off. Well, New York sure didn't worry about the babies getting killed after they were born. They put pink lights on all three bridges and on top of the Trade Center. I won't call it what I think it is, but it looks like a lightning tower, to catch lightning. And just bragging that they made a law that everybody could kill the babies, humans. And so are they going to complain that they have today 26,000 cases there and of the virus and 4,700 in the last 24 hours? Really?
Yeah,
I tell you what.
Sometimes it gets a little bizarre where, liberals seem to value the offspring of the other animals far more than they value the offspring of human beings. I think it really is an expression of their own self-hatred. And they don't want to admit that's what's going on, that they can't stand themselves. So they're out there pushing for other people to get rid of their babies.
Well, it's kind of getting like, some protected things get to where the humans need to be protected. I think there's so many polar bears, they're killing people.
Yeah, the polar bear is no longer an endangered species. They've come back. They didn't all drown because polar bears float. And besides which, the Arctic is a noisy place. I mean, there's the ice that's always growling and crunching. There's whale song out there, and there's the weather. It's not like the Arctic is absolutely silent, so that drilling noise is the only thing that they hear.
There's something else that happened here. Our mayor, she wasn't wearing her mask, and she commanded everybody to wear. And supposedly she's got herself in quarantine because I guess she had a bad test or something. And so I'm thinking, I don't think that's what's her problem. She wants to get away from the fact that a group of doctors and dentists here are demanding that elected abortion is not an essential service and that they should not be doing them here in Fort Worth.
Well,
So
I mean,
she's
the
locked
liquor
down.
stores are open, the abortion clinics are open, and the churches are closed. And that bothers me, and I'm not a religious man.
Yeah. Well, that preacher, Lappin Brown, whatever his first name was, that got arrested for not closing his down there in Florida.
Yep.
Well, anyway, he has complied, but what he got worried that they were going to come after his parishioners and torture them. So he just said, "Okay, I don't want to endanger any of my people." Yeah, that's where it goes. All right, I'll let you go, Michael. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And we're going to switch over to Don in Arizona. Welcome to the show, Don. What's on your mind today?
Oh, Mike, I was talking yesterday to Dr. Judy Mikovits.
Yes.
She's on the show. I see she's on Richie Allen's show today. So anybody wants to listen, Richie Allen is talking to Dr. Judy Mikovits, PhD, and Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, MD. They will challenge the official narrative around the coronavirus. And maybe, some of these people that really want to believe the government, check out the alternative view there, and I'm sure Richie Allen will get to the bottom of it. But one of your callers was talking about stress. One thing that Dr. Judy said when I listened to her, wearing the mask is an incredible amount of stress. I mean,
Yes.
People, this whole shutdown is stress, and people need exercise. In modern American life, the gym is very important because people have a job, they don't have time to do a whole lot of other stuff in the gym. They can get in there and do a lot of exercise quickly, and all the gyms are closed. The swimming pools are closed. Now here, there's some places you can get exercise if you're lucky, I guess. I don't know what it's like in New Jersey. Are you still in New York City? You see people jogging. When Jason Goodman did some of his on the sidewalk videos, people are still. You can always jog and ride a bicycle, but stress. People are unemployed, and stress makes you sick.
Yes.
And, Ron Paul talked about that too. Stress will make you sick, and not being outside, telling people not to get outside is unbelievably bad for them, because going outside, fresh air and especially sunlight, both fresh air and sunlight, and being in the greenery, all that is good for you and helps your immune system. So this whole thing, I hate to see a conspiracy under every bush or whatever, but this is a conspiracy underneath this bush for sure. This is Bill Gates, Fauci, who's been, and see if you can get Dr. Judy to talk to her someday. Maybe you should just call her up. She lives.
I'm sure Richie will hook us together, and I'll be doing his show next week sometime as well.
Okay, Mike, I'll let you go then. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. The phone lines are open here. Now, Fox News is still pushing the story that U.S. officials have high confidence coronavirus leaked from a lab. But of course, China is saying, no, it didn't happen. France, which helped build the lab, is saying, no, it didn't happen. And supposedly the World Health Organization is saying, no, it didn't happen. They're saying that this did emerge naturally from one of those bats in the cave, and they may have been studying it, but they didn't make it. Now, Beijing, on the other hand, has come out with the opinion that COVID-19 is a deliberate biological weapon, not created by China, but created to use on China, because that's where it first emerged. Okay. So everyone's pointing fingers and nobody really knows what's going on here. All right, there's a new study has found that 28 million Americans likely have been infected by the coronavirus and don't know it. This puts the U.S. mortality rate at 0.1%, just like the seasonal flu. This is a report out by Justin Silverman and Alex Washburn. Okay. Now, Israeli TV is saying that U.S. intelligence warned the IDF and NATO of the coronavirus threat in November of 2019. U.S. intelligence is saying, no, we didn't. We had no idea. I don't know where you're getting that stuff from. Okay, let's see. Latest still report out there saying, they're quoting a new study, hydroxychloroquine cures 98% of 1,061 patients. Problem is, it's very inexpensive. They can't mark up the profit on it all that high. Let's see, protesters in MAGA hats and flying Confederate flags swarm Michigan, North Carolina, Ohio, Utah, Wyoming, New York, and Virginia to demonstrate against tyrannical and unconstitutional lockdown orders that are worse than the virus itself. I don't know why they're waving Confederate flags. They lost the war. But I understand their frustration and their anger. I was looking at some video of some of these protests across the country. I saw a lot of the Gadsden flag, the one with the rattlesnake that says, "Don't tread on me." There's a new version out there where there's 2 rattlesnakes 6 feet apart saying, "Don't tread near me." And then we have Michigan, where Gretchen Whitmer is out there saying that her authoritarian orders restricting travel are okay because it's snowing. And there are huge protests there. And just to show how this lady's ego is getting the better of her, she's considering extending the Michigan lockdown to punish the protesters. She wants to extend the lockdown, not because it will help deal with the disease, not because it's going to make people better, not because it's going to ease the load on the house, but just to punish the protesters. And I hope the Michigan voters remember that next election when she's up for renewal of her office, which I guess is this coming November. All right, we got to take a break for our last commercials for the show, and we'll be back with the final segment after these few words.
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed the newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
The newspaper? Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, a majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper does not give out the important attention on what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
Many people write us about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you some from Amazon.com. This product is superb. I have been taking it for about a year now, and I can feel my cardiovascular system run like a Swiss watch. I definitely recommend this product for anyone that has high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and heart palpitations, A+. It's potent, but it works. I have been waking up for the past 3 years with numb hands, and a week into using Extendivite, my numb hands seem to have cleared up. My circulation was off, and now it's back on track. So I'm happy. I feel so energized, and I have my husband on it now. My mother-in-law has cholesterol problems, so I bought her a bottle as well. Thank you so much. Love the product. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late night premiere show of Redfield Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners. So that you can get involved in the activism, please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. to enter the discussion. To book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the red pill.
Is the Second Amendment your line in the sand? Is the United States Constitution important to you? Are you worried about gun confiscation? You need to join us for free at gunconfiscation.com. At gunconfiscation.com, you will meet like-minded patriots, get the latest Second Amendment news, and find anything you need to prepare for gun confiscation. Visit gunconfiscation.com today. That's gunconfiscation.com. Which side are you on?
Some are maxed out all their credit cards. Some are working 2 jobs and living in cars. Minimum wage won't pay for a roof, won't pay for a drink. If you gotta have proof, just try it yourself, Mr. CEO. See how far $5.15 an hour will go. Take a part-time job at one of your stores. I bet you can't make it here anymore.
Welcome back to our show here. Last segment of our program today. We're talking about Michigan's Governor Whitmer, who apparently has banned motorboats and jet skis, but not canoes and sailboats, which doesn't seem to make a whole heck of a lot of sense here. And apparently she also prohibited big box retailers from in-person sale of seeds because, according to her, plant seeds are non-essential. By the way, I just got an email saying that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was not a good bartender because, try as she might, she couldn't make Trump a white Russian. So let's go back to the phones. Jim in Montana. Hello, Jim. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, I know you just got the one call a day rule, but the news is out there. It's all out there. I mean, we know we're under attack. There's nothing left to do but to organize and march up on there. We need to just get together and go do a website. Everybody put in a vote like, hey, I will show up to Capitol Hill. We get the numbers and we set a date. We go. When we get there, on that same website, we tell the nation, everybody that wants us to go into Capitol Hill and sit on those seats, and we pick 5 bills that we want make sure they're passed. My number one first one is nationalize the banking system. Reopen the country, whatever. The news is out there. There's nothing more to talk about. It's time, people. It's time. We organize and we march and let's go. Let's put the money where our mouths are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we talk. What are we gonna do? Talk to death till it fucking. I'm sorry about the language, but
Yeah,
what are we gonna do?
please.
Talk to.
No, first thing on this here radio.
You're right. Yes, sir. No,
Okay,
that's
well,
not good. I
Jim-
know. Well, I mean,
Jim,
it's
Jim,
time to
Jim,
go. It's time to watch. Okay,
Jim,
I'm sorry. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
No, there are protests already starting. We don't need a website. It's very obvious people are ready to show up when these protesters, I mean, they're in all these states. They're protesting to reopen the states here. This is the American people finally standing up to the government. And I think it's a very, very positive thing because it's clear the government is not exactly sure what they're going to do with this.
It is. I think a website is a good idea. I would be willing to go to all the alternative news, InfoWars, all of them, and let them go, hey, we've got this particular website, maybe not a vote on it, but like we're setting a date. We're marching to Capitol Hill. We're sitting in those seats, and we're reopening country. We're doing
Jim?
5.
Jim?
Yes, sir.
Jim, the reason I'm not going to set up such a website is it pulls together into one location the name of everybody who's going to go out there and protest. And frankly, I'd like to keep those names secret.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's a good point. There's better ideas. There's smarter people than me to come up with those ideas. But let's do it. Let's organize. Let's do it. So anyway, thanks, Mike. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
All right. Thanks an awful lot. We're going to let you go. We're going to close the phone lines. We're at the end of the program here. And yeah, people are out there protesting. And as usual, the corporate media is lying about how many people are showing up. So there's the music. It's time for you to get out of here and get something useful done with the rest of the day. Stay tuned for John Stedmiller. I'm sure he's got lots of interesting things to share with you. Please spread the word of RBN. Spread the word of whatreallyhappened.com. Please donate. Don't forget Frontsight Training Academy or Training Institute and their special deal. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We'll be back tomorrow. Aloha, America.